like to welcome you guys to tonight's event. It's the Empowerment Panel. The purpose of today's event is to encourage you all to get involved in the MSA, inshallah. Tonight our guest speakers will speak upon the importance of involvement in the MSA in the greater community, the benefits gained through one's involvement, using modern media to empower individuals and represent Islam within and outside of the university. Inshallah, we will start with a Quran recitation and translation. Then we will have our panel speakers speak. And then we're going to have a question and answer session for 30 minutes. And then inshallah, we'll conclude with food.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل إنني هداني ربي إلى صراط مستقيم دينا قيما ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين قل أغير الله أبغي ربا وهو رب كل شيء ولا تكسب كل نفس إلا عليها ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى ثم إلى ربكم مرجعكم فينبئكم بما كنتم فيه تختلفون صدق الله العظيم.
He who does good shall have 10 times as much to his credit. He that does evil shall be given back according to his evil. No wrong shall be done to any of them. Say, surely my Lord has guided me to a way that is straight, a religion of right, the path walked by Ibrahim, the true in faith, and he certainly did not join gods with Allah. Say truly, my prayer and my service of sacrifice, my life and my death are all for Allah, the Lord and cherisher of the worlds. He has no partners. This am I commanded, but I am the first of those who bow to his will. Say, shall I seek for my Lord other than Allah when he is the Lord of all things? Every soul draws the reward of its act on none but itself. No bearer of burdens can bear the burden of another. Your goal in the end is towards Allah. He will tell you the truth of the things about which you disputed.
Jazakallah khairan, Omnia and Suleiman. Our first speaker will be Dr. Ibrahim. He's going to speak about the importance of involvement. Dr. Hassan Ibrahim is a distinguished Kaiser teaching fellow at the Robert H. Smith School of Business. Dr. Ibrahim received a Doctor of Science and Master degrees in Engineering and Management from the George Washington University. He also has a Bachelor degree in Electrical Engineering. Dr. Ibrahim areas of specializations are project management, information systems development, and operations management. He has worked for and consulted with a number of industry leaders, including the World Bank, McDonnell, Gold Douglas, Philip Electronics, and Siemens Medical Systems. Dr. Ibrahim served as the National Director and Board Member of the Muslim Public Affairs Council, MPAC, and is the Vice President and Board Member of All Dallas Area Muslim Society, Adams in Virginia. Please welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing tonight?
Alhamdulillah.
Good, alhamdulillah. If I give you a khutbah today, that exempts you from attending Friday, right? Okay.
They want me to talk about empowerment, and I would like to talk to you about lack of empowerment. Okay? Why should you be empowered? Okay? If you are a student at the University of Maryland, you have here a platform already ready for you, the MSA. How many of you guys were born in this country? Okay, pretty much almost everybody except for maybe 5, 6 people. 30 years ago, I moved to this country, and you can rarely see a Muslim brother or sister anywhere. That the first time I stood at the metro platform in DC, I found somebody running across the platform. He saw my wife, she was wearing the hijab, and he was so happy that there is another Muslim in town. That's 1981. And now, mashallah, look at you guys. I was a student at GW, as was mentioned in the biography earlier. And back in the early 80s, there was not a single place where you can pray Jummah. Okay, there was the Islamic Center in DC, and because of some politics, it was shut down. There was not a single place where you can pray Jummah. So the Muslim student at George Washington University decided that we really need to pray, so we need to hold a place, to find a place to pray. So we'll go to the administration and ask for a place every week. And they would give us a conference room with nice army chairs, okay, and so on. So it took us like 15 minutes to move the table out, put the chairs on top of the table, so you have enough room that you can, frankly, can make sujood on the back of the person in front of you. You don't have to go through that. If you wanted to reserve a room for this event, you have an organization that is able to speak for you. But that organization needs the continuity of your involvement. That you cannot count on just somebody will do it for you. Right? And your involvement here is relatively low risk. Okay? You are expected as a student to be part of a student organization. The Muslim student organization is a natural place as a Muslim brother or sister to belong to. So usually what I found when it comes to involvement and empowerment, that people want to be involved, but they're not really sure what to do. And they expect that you really need to be able to move mountains to really to be worthwhile of your efforts. Every small effort that you make will make a difference. So you just need to show the interest, and you need to show what you are capable of doing, and work in teams. If you try to work as a sole person, okay, you will never reach that empowerment. It comes from a group, from really being able to build that cohesion among yourselves. Now, if I want to put this in the context of our faith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always in the Quran address us as الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. That having faith, sitting in a musalla, okay, all day praying and reading Quran is wonderful. But that's not your mission on earth. Your mission on earth is to read the Quran, to study it, and to get out and do something with it. If you are just sitting there and praying and you're only helping and improving your own self, you haven't really fulfilled the mission of you as a Muslim, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has entrusted you with. You need to reach out to the community around you, Muslims and non-Muslims. Especially in this country, that as a Muslim generation, okay, that most of you were born and grew up here, you have a lot of challenges against you that we didn't feel 30 years ago. 30 years ago, nobody knew what Islam is. And that was, believe it or not, that was really an advantage. That people, when they saw me and my wife again at the airport, okay, and with her hijab, they assumed that she must be a rich Arab princess of some sort, and they were treated us as like royalty. And we took advantage of that, let me be frank with you. All right? But now, you have people who are, they go on NPR, say that when I see somebody who is dressed like a Muslim, I get frightened and I kind of get concerned. Your challenges are different from ours. But alhamdulillah, there is also a lot of goodwill in this country that is willing to listen. As much as you have Fox News that is dedicated to badmouth Islam and Muslims, you have many other people, okay, without naming names, like your generation will know Jon Stewart and Colbert, right? So you have people who are really, out of fairness, out of being objective, they are coming out and from time to time defending Muslims and our belief and our position and our issues, not because they are Muslims, but because it's objectively that's the right thing to do. But you cannot always count on others to do it for us. You have people on radio doing similar things, again, bad-mouthing Muslims, and you need to be involved because if you are not undoing all of that bad things, you're going to you and your children would live the consequence of that. For our generation, our main concern when it came to empowerment is make sure that our children, you guys, okay, and your generation, okay, will not be washed away. So our concern was always when it came to empowerment is building mosques and Sunday schools. We want to give you anchors in a place where you can worship, you can build an identity, and Sunday schools where you have people who look like you, who fast Ramadan, who have to listen to their parents, right guys? Okay, that was very important as a parent. And you would kind of build this kind of cohesion that they are, when you are in a public school and you're only on fasting during Ramadan, you're not really odd because you see on Sunday people who fast like you. Okay, and people who pray 5 times a day and so on. So it's very important that for you, for your faith, for the next generation, that you really need to be active. And activism can manifest itself here, again, at low risk at the Muslim Student Association. Okay? But also try to reach out to be also a member of another society. In your school, okay, in your community. So when they see a Muslim brother or sister, they know that they can really relate to you. They are really, you are just a normal human being like every one of them. Okay? There is a lot of work that needs to be done. And mashallah, we see from the attendance in this room, I'm very optimistic about you guys being able to take the banner to the next level. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again tells us in the Quran, وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسَ بَعْضَهُمْ بِبَعْضٍ لَهُدِّمَتْ صَوَامِعٌ وَبِيعٌ وَصَلَوَاتٌ وَمَسَاجِدٌ. That if it was not for people pushing one another, this is not a physical pushing, this is really interacting with one another. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is nothing that the Muslims doing this interaction, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala address an-nas, people, human beings, doing this. And as a result of that, okay, you are able to sustain places of worship. And in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses not just that because of this, that masajids will be built, mosques will be built all over the globe. No, that churches, synagogue, monasteries, and mosques will be protected. That without people in interaction with one another, these places where the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is glorified will be deserted and destroyed. So this interaction requires you to also be interfaith in your work. Okay? The more you are relevant to the community around you, the more you are relevant and able to do something for your community and for this faith. So make sure that you are, as an individual, part of this society, of the Muslim Student Association, and you are reaching out, that your circle reaches out beyond just your immediate group. All right? I can go for another 5 minutes, but I only told to talk for 10 minutes. All right? And they're not exempted from Friday prayer, right? This is not complete call. All right? Unfortunately, I have a class to teach at the Smith School, but I left my contact information for you. If you need to write to me, please do. Don't ask me about the exam, okay? You're no longer in my class. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be with you, and I wish I could stay longer. But the more important speakers here that you would learn from, and thank you again. Assalamu alaikum.
Just a quick error on Dr. Ibrahim. Again, he's going to leave early, so inshallah, if you have any questions, just write them down on a piece of paper and I'll email them to him. Tuba's going to introduce the next panel.
All right, so our next speaker is Dr. Sahir Khamis. Dr. Sahir Khamis is an assistant professor in the Department of Communication at the University of Maryland, College Park. She's an expert on Arab media and the former head of the Mass Communication and Information Science Department in Qatar University. Dr. Khamis holds a PhD in Mass Media and Cultural Studies from the University of Manchester in England. She's the co-author of the book Islam.com, Contemporary Islamic Discourses in Cyberspace. She also authored chapters in the book Women and Media in the Middle East, Power Through Self-Expression, and New Media in the New Middle East. She also has several publications in both international and regional academic journals and conferences in both English and Arabic. She is the recipient of a number of prestigious academic and professional awards. Dr. Khamis is an editorial board member of the journals Media, War and Conflict, Journal of Middle East Media, Journal of Arab and Muslim Media Research, and Advances in the History of Rhetoric. Her areas of teaching and research interest include public relations, advertising, public opinion, audience research, mass media campaigns, gender and media studies, women's media images and portrayals, mass media and national development, ethnographic media studies, as well as international and intercultural communication. Beside her university teaching experience in a number of prestigious universities, including the University of Maryland, the American University in Cairo, University of Manchester, Cairo University, Ain Shams University, and Qatar University, she also worked in prominent international media organizations such as the Wall Street Journal and NHK, a Japanese broadcasting corporation, as well as leading Arab media outlets such as Al Ahram and Al Waft.
Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Honor and pleasure to be with you this afternoon. Thank you for the long introduction, Tuba, probably longer than my work. I am really delighted to be here and to have this wonderful crowd of very enthusiastic young men and women. And in you, I see the future, inshallah, of Islam in this country as well as internationally. This is not an overstatement. I do see a lot of enthusiasm, and I really think that many of you will be very good ambassadors for the faith and for your community, inshallah. I would like to talk about the issue of involvement and empowerment and engagement on 3 different levels. Within the campus community, within the outside community, and on the global level, the global community. Right? And I will give very specific examples so that it's not abstract. You will really see how we can make this happen, can make these things happen, whether on the level of the campus or the level of the community, or inshallah even on a broader global level. Of course, within the campus community, we do have the MSA, we do have the Muslim Women of Maryland, which I'm proud to be the advisor for. And I hope this is only the beginning of my collaboration and contribution to it and to MSA mutually, inshallah, because I see this as a very important form of involvement and engagement to have MSA and MWM work together in collaboration with each other on so many events like this one. Within the campus community, I think that there are 2 types of engagement which are very important. The first one is between Muslims themselves, right? Muslims and other Muslims. And I did have myself joining the listserv for the Muslim Women of Maryland and the MSA as well. So I get updates on the events and the activities which are being organized within the community. And I see that there's a lot of good events. But I think that there's a need actually for more to be done in terms of not just the focus on the tajweed and tafsir halaqas, which is great, but also some things relating to, for example, the challenges facing Islam and Muslims today. We need to also talk about what are the challenges of living as a Muslim today in a country like the United States. What are the challenges facing young men and women today? What are the challenges posed by new forms of communication, by new forms of media? What are the day-to-day challenges that could face us? These are things which have to be also addressed. So I strongly urge you that in connecting to other Muslims on campus, beside having the tafsir and tajweed halaqas, which are great, to also have other types of meetings on a weekly basis, a bi-monthly basis, on a monthly basis, does not matter, as much as possible, to also engage yourselves in other issues which are very important, contemporary, current challenges, issues which are relating to life in the United States as a Muslim, and what that means. And I'm sure you're going to have people, your age group asking questions. Am I doing the right thing? Is this the right way to do? Am I using the internet in the best possible way I can? How about watching satellite television? What about dealing with non-Muslims? I'm sure there are so many issues that need to be addressed. So if you can think of organizing some kind of on-campus events that touch upon other types of issues, not just related to the faith or to studying the Quran as such, but also related to other contemporary issues and challenges, that would be great. The other type of involvement on campus is very important, and I think the 2 great speakers who preceded me talked about it, is interfaith dialogue. Unfortunately, Arabs and Muslims have this tradition of talking to ourselves. We have been talking to ourselves for a long, long time, and we still are. They call it preaching to the convert. Okay, so you see, we're angry about something. And we talk about it, but we talk about it to each other. Okay, I already believe in what you are saying because I share your values. I know that, all right? But you know, guess what? There are other people out there who need to hear what you have to say because they don't know. So that's the people that you should be talking to, not your peers who already are adopting this point of view anyway. And that has been one of the greatest weaknesses of our media policy and our communication policy, is that we have been for a long time speaking to ourselves rather than speaking to others. And by others, I mean those who are non-Muslims, those who are of other faiths, those who might have completely different or distorted views of Islam and Muslims altogether. Just like Dr. Ibrahim was saying, you know, at one point seeing a Muslim woman with a veil was a sign of richness and wealth and stuff, and now it's a sign of, oh my God, maybe you're a scary person, maybe you're a terrorist, maybe you're a member of an underground group, maybe you have a bomb hidden under your veil, who knows, you know? So, and that's because, largely due to ignorance. When people start to know the facts, the reality, when they hear Muslims like yourselves, educated, cosmopolitan citizens, you are exposed to the world, you are modern people, you have a good mentality, and you start to talk about these issues, they're going to say, you know, I know this person, he's not a terrorist. I know this person, she's not a terrorist. They sound like very intelligent, smart, young people. They have a lot of energy, they have a lot of education. It is just that we have to make it happen. They are not going to come to us. We have to go to them. We have to be proactive. We have to take the step forward, right? الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات. You have to believe and you have to do good actions to actually confirm your belief, right? As a confirmation of your belief. So reaching out to non-Muslims on campus in some form of interfaith dialogue is very, very important. And I think the two previous speakers did talk about some examples. Joining other clubs and other on-campus organizations, doesn't have to be religious organizations, could be any other club or student organization, is a good chance for you to introduce yourselves to others who are non-Muslims and to actually open some kind of bridges or channels of communication and trust and cooperation and friendship between you and them. وَخَلَقْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. We've created you as nations and tribes so that you would get to know each other. So knowing each other is very important because it's the first step towards compassion, towards understanding, towards empathy, towards trust, and that's how you can fight any of the misconceptions or the negative stereotypes. Also, I'm very happy with the experiment that the MWM has, which is the friend group, I think it is called, which is the Jewish Muslim women group. It's called Friend, and it's a nice name, and this is one good step. I would like to see more of that happening. Also, I don't know if MSA has anything comparable, but it's very important to have these kinds of dialogues and activities with Christian students, with Jewish students, with other students who do not know much about Islam, and they can hopefully see a good image of Islam and Muslims through you. The second level I'd like to talk about is the outside of campus level, or let's say the community level. And within this community level, I would like to highlight two different aspects. The first one is connection with alumni. And it's very important to have an active alumni club. I think the MSA has one. MWM needs to have one. Muslim Women of Maryland, I strongly urge that you form an active and strong alumni club. Because the alumni who graduate from here, they can link with the students who are still here on campus, who are still undergraduates or still studying for their degrees, and they can possibly create some kind of link and some kind of active connection with them, transfer to them their experiences, tell them what they have learned, just like our brother here did a moment ago. This is very important. It's a very important resource to maintain these links and to maintain these connections. And now with the new media, it is much easier to have a listserv, to have people sign up to this listserv, to send them information, to send them news about different events that's going on campus, to invite them to come to campus, to maintain a tie and to maintain a connection and an active alumni association. So I hope that the Muslim Women of Maryland will very soon have their own club and tell me the good news that they started this active link, so we don't lose connection with the smart people who graduate from here, and we don't want them to vanish or to disappear into the world and not to come back again to us. We want them to come back, and we want to learn from their experiences and learn from their professional connections, and it can help us to also maintain an active communication and active involvement and engagement. And the other level of engagement within the community is community activities. I know that there are so many active Christian and Jewish social services organizations.